What if we told you that the bustling streets of New York City are becoming eerily quiet? Not due to any natural disaster, but because of a trucker boycott. Intriguing, isn't it? The Big Apple, known for its ceaseless activity and traffic, is witnessing an unusual calm. The reason behind this tranquility is not a sudden love for public transport or a citywide cycling trend. It's a trucker boycott. The usually busy streets, especially the major arteries like the New Jersey Turnpike, are becoming noticeably empty. And why are the truckers boycotting, you might ask? The reasons are manifold. Exorbitant tolls, expensive tickets, violations, and a perceived unfair treatment of truckers. This silent protest is their way of saying enough is enough. But New York City isn't the only city experiencing this phenomenon. Let's journey to other cities like Chicago and Toronto. And so our story continues, exploring the ripple effects of this unique form of protest. Chicago, the Windy City, and Toronto, the heart of Canada, are experiencing their share of quiet roads. Two cities, each with its own brand of vibrancy and bustle, now sharing an unusual calm. The trucker boycott, a wave that began in New York City, has found resonance here, in the heart of the Midwest and the Great White North. In Chicago, the reasons for the boycott echo those of their East Coast counterparts. High tolls, hefty fines, and the perception of being treated unfairly by the authorities have led many truckers to put the brakes on their loads. The impact? Well, it's been a mixed bag. On one hand, the city's notorious traffic congestion has eased somewhat. But on the other, businesses relying heavily on truck deliveries are feeling the pinch. Moving north to Toronto, the situation is somewhat different. Here, the truckers aren't just protesting high operating costs, but are also voicing their frustration against what they perceive as severe legal consequences for their actions, contrasting sharply with the lenient treatment meted out to violent criminals. This has not only led to quieter roads but also louder voices of discontent. Just like in Chicago, Toronto's residents are experiencing the ripple effects of the boycott. While some enjoy the decreased traffic, others worry about the potential impact on their everyday lives. Businesses, especially those dependent on truck deliveries, are grappling with potential shortages and increased costs. It's interesting to note that despite the shared grievances, the two cities are responding differently. In Chicago, there's a sense of resilience, a city used to weathering storms, both literal and metaphorical. In Toronto, there's an air of concern, a city unaccustomed to such disruptions. And yet, in both cities, the message is clear. The trucker community is a critical part of our urban fabric, and their concerns cannot be ignored. While the roads are quieter, the voices of discontent are becoming louder. Let's delve into the heart of the matter. What drives these truckers to abandon the roads and their livelihoods? It's a complex mesh of factors. Let's unravel this mesh to understand the heart of the issue. At its core, the boycott comes down to a few key factors. One of these is the high operating costs that truckers face. The price of fuel, maintenance, and insurance can be staggering, and when you add on the cost of tolls and tickets, it becomes a significant burden. Truckers are feeling the pinch, and they're saying enough is enough. But it's not just about the money. There's also a sense of unfair treatment that's fueling this boycott. Many truckers feel they are being singled out and penalized more harshly than other road users. They point to expensive tickets and violations that seem to target them specifically, creating an environment of distrust and resentment. Then comes the issue of unprofitable loads. The economic realities of the trucking industry are harsh. Many truckers feel they're not being adequately compensated for their work. When the cost of transporting a load doesn't cover the expenses, it becomes a losing proposition. And no one wants to work for free, right? The situation is even more intense north of the border in Canada. There, truckers protesting face severe legal consequences, which seems to contrast with the lenient treatment given to violent criminals. This disparity in justice is not lost on the trucking community and adds another layer to the reasons behind the boycott. This is a complex issue with many moving parts. It's not just about one thing, but a combination of factors that have led to this point. It's about fairness, economics, and justice. It's about people feeling heard, respected, and valued for the work they do. The consequences of this boycott are far-reaching and impactful. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. The trucker boycott is more than just empty streets. It's a silent protest echoing loudly across cities. Let's take a moment to reflect on the key points we've discussed in this video. We've learned that this boycott is a reaction to the high tolls, expensive tickets, and violations truckers face, along with a perceived unfair treatment. It's not just about the costs, but the principle of the matter. Truckers work tirelessly to keep our cities supplied, and their call for justice is a testament to their resilience. Remember, this isn't a small-scale protest. It's impacting major cities like New York City, Chicago, and Toronto, creating a ripple effect across North America. The sight of empty roads in these bustling metropolises is both eerie and thought-provoking. We've also seen that not all truckers are on board with the boycott. Some have cited unprofitable loads and high operating costs as their reasons for continuing to navigate the New York City roads. This just goes to show the complexity of the situation and the tough decisions these truckers have to make. Let's not forget the situation in Canada. The stark contrast between the severe legal consequences faced by protesting truckers and the lenient treatment of violent criminals has sparked outrage and protests. It's clear that this is not just an American issue, but a North American one. But it's not all doom and gloom. Some cities, primarily in Nevada, Texas, and Florida, are operating normally. This shows that it's possible for truckers and authorities to find a balance that benefits everyone. In sum, the trucker boycott is a complex issue with far-reaching implications. It's a call for justice, a plea for fair treatment, and a testament to the power of unity. As we navigate these quiet roads, we understand the voices behind the silence. The trucker boycott is not just about empty roads, it's a call for justice and fair treatment. Will these voices be heard, or will the roads remain silent? Only time will tell.